This message comes from NPR sponsor Vuori, featuring the Core Short. Receive 20% off your first purchase on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns at vuori.com/NPR. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions.
To you, what is the point of a dinner party today? Garrett, we'll start with you on this question.
It's about gossip, which is like something that I really believe in as like a delicious and important social norm. I think it's like less about like impressing the boss, and it's more about like what's going on with Jessica. You know what I mean? Like what's happening? Like we need to figure some things out and we need to talk.
Hello, hello. I'm Brittany Luce, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. I love that. That's such a good motivator. Honestly, gossip is like, I always say that I have many reasons to want to live in this world. But one of the top reasons I want to live a long life is to live long enough to have all of my gossip questions answered.
I love gossip. I believe in it in a positive way. It's not malicious. Sometimes you have to talk. And I think that's where, like, for me, it happens.
But what about you? What about you, Carly? What do you think? Like, what do you think the point of a dinner party is today?
You know, I've always loved hosting, and I think there's something appealing about creating a party in your own space. It's totally of your own design, and there's something cozy and lovely about having your friends over in your space, eating food that you prepared or at least chose for them. And maybe it's a place for friends to be brought together for the first time. It's really about the socializing. I love a dinner party.
Today, we're talking about dinner parties. But real quick, I want to take us to the dinner parties of yore. It's mid-century America. It's promotion season. You are prepared. Weeks ago, you picked a gorgeous serveware set from the Sears catalog and perfected your favorite back-of-the-box casserole recipe. Your home is spotless, and in your dining room, each utensil, plate, and glass is identical. You are finally ready to host the boss and his wife for a dinner party.
I think the hallmark was like, we've impressed the boss, we got the promotion we got, or we have kind of like shown off a little bit. I got the new washer dryer that I wanted my husband to get me, and I got to show Betty Sue down the street that you know what I mean? It was like a status symbol. It was a little bit of a way to like keep up with the Joneses.
That's professional chef and writer Garrett Schlichty.
I think now it's like everybody had a good time. Everybody had some good food. They got a little drunk. We got to talk and like sit down. You know, like I also love going out, but like you just get to relax in a home. You have this kind of sense of fullness in like friendship in life with other people. And you heard a little bit of gossip. I'm going to keep saying that. I think like that is just the like.
I will say the last dinner party I went to, I heard incredible, unspeakable gossip. Now, I love a formal dining experience just as much as the next person, but there are a couple of reasons why that specific type of middle-class marker just isn't as attainable today. For starters, the dining room is becoming a thing of the past. According to Axios, nearly 80% of designers working on new home communities said dining rooms became less important over the past year.
You know, the average home coming into 1960 was about 1,500 square feet, and now it's over 2,400 square feet.
That's Carly Olson, freelance architecture, design, and business journalist.
So it's not that our homes are getting smaller and we don't have dining spaces anymore. It's more that the floor plans are changing. You know, an open floor plan where the living room is bleeding into the dining room, bleeding into the kitchen, that is more of the norm.
Now, if you're like me, you like to host, but whether it's anxiety about your living space or the quality of your food, there's some kind of block keeping you from tapping into your inner Martha Stewart. So today, Carly and Garrett are going to help me outline the culture of a modern dinner party and how you can make it work in whatever living space you have. Carly, What are the bigger historical changes in our living spaces that are affecting the lack of formal dining rooms that we're seeing?
Yeah, I think one thing that I always think about is that we just have a lot more stuff than we used to.
Yeah, I'm looking around very guiltily at my desk set up right now, and like the fact that I'm surrounded by piles of books that you all cannot see, but yes.
Well, I think it just goes to show how people want to use their space differently, or maybe need to use their space differently because they have more things in the space. I think working from home is also part of that. Do you really want a formal dining room that's not touched a lot of the time when you need an office at home?
That's actually very real.
I think people feel like their homes are for them and for their families, and less about the guests that come maybe a few times a year. I think people are orienting their spaces more around their day-to-day needs than those occasions. And it wasn't like people used to have a dinner party every day 50 years ago. Yeah. But they clearly thought it was important enough to maintain a separate space that would accommodate those moments when they arrived. And now I think we're more focused on the day-to-day living experience. Like, you see bathrooms are becoming so luxe because people want to like wind down at the end of a long day, or they really prioritize that getting ready space because they're using it every day. And that's for them. That's a private kind of domain. So I think people are focusing more on themselves and what they need.
It lines up with very similar kind of cultural shifts that has come up in a lot of other different conversations on this show around people thinking less about creating community and more about how to get through their own individual daily lives, which, I mean, I don't necessarily have a judgment on either of those things because I think that like daily life is very hard in many ways. And so it doesn't surprise me that people might be looking for solutions to make it easier.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
But sounds like that also might be reflecting a little bit of the isolation and loneliness that we're seeing statistically among Americans specifically, feeling lonelier. And sometimes it can feel like, oh, well, the solution is that I should get more sleep, and so that I should have a nicer bathtub so I can take a bath. When actually, like, I don't know, maybe the solution is maybe a couple nights a week you have a friend over to have a cup of coffee or to watch Housewives or something like that. Yeah, it's interesting, the kind of thing that it sounds like people might be trying to solve for in thinking about how to set up their homes now.
I don't know if this is that useful to say, but this summer I felt like I had a month where I was kind of in a funk, and I had 2 friends over and cooked dinner for them, and I swear that changed my entire week. And I just made a simple summer pasta with fresh vegetables, roasted it, and threw some pasta on there, and made a really easy salad, had a bottle of wine already in my fridge, opened that up, and it changed the trajectory of my entire week just having a couple friends in my space. It's a good reminder that like just simple gatherings, if they feel like you can, be yourself, you're in a space that feels comfortable for you, and you're having a necessary social interaction, I think we need more of that. And maybe that's what hanging out is. It's just casually being yourself around people that care about you.
When I first moved in here, the walls were like a high gloss white. It was giving Girl Interrupted. It was very institutional. Angelina Jolie, I expected her to come crawling by at any point in time because it looked that wild in here, and I felt judged. And I think that whether it was on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever, seeing into each other's homes felt like perhaps maybe an extension of the way that social media has made us view our homes and living spaces kind of in a different way. I wonder if either of you have heard anything or encountered or even experienced yourself, like feelings of self-consciousness around one's home and kind of like, okay, is this good enough? Like, what message am I sending? Can I have people over? Like, I don't know. I'm wondering, is that something that you all had seen or experienced?
Definitely. No exaggeration, I changed my office to look better on Zoom for a job. I painted my walls.
Wow.
I put a shelf in the background. I styled the shelf. Like, that is very real that we are changing the way our spaces look now that people are looking into them more. And I think that hosting anxiety can feel similar. Like, we're seeing beautiful things all the time so easily through our phones, through social media. And I think it's natural that people feel the pressure. Like, this is what a dinner party looks like. My house doesn't look like that. Do I really want to let people into my home? I completely understand that anxiety, and I think that social media is making that more prevalent.
I see you nodding, Garrett.
My biggest gripe with like all of kind of modern entertaining and like what every cookbook these days is called is like it's simple and easy, like casual fun. You could do it with your eyes closed, and it's like nobody can. Like, it is actually very hard.
I have a nervous breakdown every time I host people
because we are consuming everything in like little 30-second clips or like whatever. It's like, I just threw this together. We're just seeing this short bit of content, and then it's suddenly this gorgeous dinner party. And then when it takes you $250 and all day, and then the cleanup the next day, it's like, who has time for? I can't be. You know what I mean? It's like not the way the world actually works.
I think I've heard a lot of friends feel like their own places are not up to par. And I've also written some design stories where the homeowners redecorated in service of having these entertaining experiences that they wanted to have. Like, that was top of mind as they're redecorating. They're like, I picture having a party like this. How can I decorate my space to accommodate that experience?
If you have paper plates, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, the food is going to be the food. And once again, the gossip is going to be the gossip, whether you're eating off antique china plates or, you know, Chinette cardboard. You know what I mean? Like, it's just... I think it's worth it. I personally believe that it is worthwhile to be inconvenienced to have community. I think that's like part of what it is. I think like building friendships is not easy. It takes time. Dinner parties are the same way. And I wish we could get more of that in the conversation.
Coming up,
there is something like psychological about being like, somebody else was taking care of me tonight. Like, someone else was like doing a little something for me.
stay with us.
This message comes from AT&T. Whether you're calling your parents to say happy anniversary or checking in with your kids before bedtime, staying connected matters. That's why AT&T has connectivity you can depend on, or they'll proactively make it right. That's the AT&T Guarantee. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee to learn more. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
This message comes from Schwab. At Schwab, how you invest is your choice, not theirs. That's why when it comes to managing your wealth, Schwab gives you more choices. You can invest and trade on your own. Plus, get advice and more comprehensive wealth solutions to help meet your unique needs. With award-winning service, low costs, and transparent advice, you can manage your wealth your way at Schwab. Visit schwab.com to learn more. Support for this podcast and the following message come from Betterment. Start investing in a better future. Whether it's saving for today or building wealth for tomorrow, Betterment helps people and small businesses put their money to work by automating to make saving simpler, optimizing to make investing smarter, and building innovative technology backed by financial experts. So be invested in yourself. Be invested in your business. Be invested in better with Betterment at Betterment.com. Investing involves risk. Performance not guaranteed. This message comes from Wise, the app for using money around the globe. When you manage your money with Wise, you'll always get the mid-market exchange rate with no hidden fees. Join millions of customers and visit wise.com. T's and C's apply.
What is something that you've seen people do, Carly, in their homes to create a memorable experience for their guests?
Yeah. If you have the space, it's always such a cool experience when the dinner party has multiple locations throughout the night. Like maybe you come over and you get appetizers out on the deck. It's casual, the sun is setting.
I also have a supper club called Virgo Supper Club, and like we kind of do that same kind of flow, which is like when people come over to your house, have a little welcome cocktail and have a little like bite out, and that can be on a budget. That can be, you know, a couple bottles of like cheaper wine and like some olives and some cheese, and people like love to be greeted by something. I think it like makes them feel really at home.
And then when it's time, you migrate inside, sit down around the table, have your formal dinner. And then when the tea is getting spilled, when it's time for some more gossip, you go over to the living room, you have a little dessert plate, you're sitting around the fire. Like there's multiple moments throughout the evening, and it really makes it feel like an event. And that's something that I think is so cool.
Personally, I love to still be cooking while people are over. I think that like brings the stress way down. I think like everybody kind of wants to be part of it. You know what I mean? Like not doing stressful cooking, but like if I've still got something on the stove, the house smells great. If there's something still in the oven, it like allows people to be a little more casual. And I think that like that really takes the pressure off, whether that is like a leg of lamb or like a pork butt. Like I think that there are multiple ways to kind of do the high-low of that, but then like, yeah, have desserts and cocktails afterwards, you know?
Oh my gosh, y'all making me feel so inspired. And what about for the Maxinistas?
Yeah, we can't forget the Maxinistas. I think that having fresh flowers and putting out like all your table linens and napkins and kind of bringing your personal aesthetic into the dinner party is something that makes a party feel really personal and really beautiful. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can go to Trader Joe's, pick out the fresh flowers, put them in little bud vases. But something that like is a little bit more colorful, a little eclectic, that can make the aesthetic of the party really charming and really lovely.
I had not even thought about that, bringing your own personal aesthetic into it. That sounds, first of all, very chic, achievable, but also like very different than like having a theme. I think a lot of people think about a theme when they're thinking about a party. They're like, oh, we got to figure out and stick to a theme. But I like that, bringing in some of your aesthetic, so that people feel like this is something like very uniquely you, and they're having like an experience within your home. I love that. I don't know. I think even if you have, the fab apartment with the nice kitchen and the good views, I think like, the things I think that give people like anxiety about hosting are like the whole cooking and cleaning and making things look nice thing. Like maybe you can't cook, or you don't have the time to, deep clean, or try to get enough stemware or whatever. Or maybe you don't have any desire to cook for anybody. Maybe. So I wonder, what is the argument though for an at-home dinner party versus, a good old trip to Applebee's with the girls? Like what's the argument for having people over and staying in and like gathering in that way, as opposed to just going to a restaurant, which, I mean, it seems like a lot of us are very eager to do.
I think that it's really where like you build family, I think it's really like I've eaten some less than great food at dinner parties before, and I have never been disappointed by that. Mm-hmm. It is just a way to like show care and receive care in a way that I think like we all do need like more and more. There is something like psychological about being like, somebody else was taking care of me tonight. Like someone else was like doing a little something for me. And I think it's like great to like give and receive that kind of like love and like nurturance amongst friends, and like, I mean, I remember like my family doing it at home. My dad was like a big entertainer. It's like part of why I became, I think, particularly as we get older, the world wants us to be so much more separate, and like it is just like a perfect reason to like be together.
I think there's a lot of reasons, like you said, why having a dinner party is impractical. It doesn't make sense in our like total human optimization culture to dedicate all this time to have friends over. You're cleaning, you're cooking. Maybe if you don't cook, you're figuring out where to order from and plating. Like it doesn't make sense all the time. Mm-hmm. But that is the beauty of it, is that you chose to do it. And I think that when your friends come over, they really appreciate it. And you also have endless time to just be with each other. I think a night at Applebee's with the girls is very fun. But after a couple hours, like your internal clock is like, it's time to move on. What's our next stop? Or it's time to go home. And at a dinner party, if everyone's enjoying themselves, it could be 4 or 5 hours. You kind of lose track of time. And I feel like it's one of the rare experiences where I'm losing track of time. And I like that.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. I love that.
And nobody post anything about it. You know what I mean? I think that de-escalates everything.
Oh
you know,
my
like we don't need to. If there was like a way to like
that.
Berghain the dinner party experience and like put like a sticker over everybody's phone and be like, just eat the food with your mouth and tell me a story. I think that really would save us all.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Let's Berghain the dinner party. Gosh, oh my gosh, Garrett, Carly, I have really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was architecture and design journalist Carly Olson and professional chef and writer Garrett Schlichty. His book, Dinner Party Stories, is coming out in 2027. And I'm going to put on my influencer hat for a second and ask you to please subscribe to this show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you're listening. Click follow so you know the latest in culture while it's still hot. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Corey Antonio Rose.
This episode was edited by
Nina Patak.
Our supervising producer is
Barton Girdwood.
Our executive producer is
Verilyn Williams.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luce. Talk soon.
This message comes from KeyBank. You should never feel like you're leaving business decisions to chance. Try a banking relationship that helps you turn industry insight into industry advantage. Reimagine business as usual. KeyBank opens doors. Key.com/B2B.
This message comes from Amazon Business. With smart business buying, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place, from office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at amazonbusiness.com. Support for NPR and the following message come from IXL Online. Is your child asking questions on their homework you don't feel equipped to answer? IXL Learning uses advanced algorithms to give the right help to each kid, no matter the age or personality. One subscription gets you everything. One site for all the kids in your home, pre-K to 12th grade. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And NPR listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/NPR.